Sanchez, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's call the meeting to order. Flag salute. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing, do we have any changes to the agenda today?
Yes,
Okay, we got-
under the badge pin ceremony, it's only gonna be, Mr. Giles only. The other two are on a call and exchanges and things like that. They're not gonna make it in.
Okay. Okay. Any other changes to the board? Here's everything you have. Okay. All right, Kate, do we have any public comment? Everybody signed up?
No, we don't.
Okay, and we have Kim on the computer. Teams?
Yeah, let me double check.
So that means we all are here. Okay, any correspondence? I don't think we have anything in our package for correspondence this time. Okay, then, Chief,
Yes, sir.
let's move into the badge pending for.
Yes, sir. Go. Okay, so normally what we do here now is our oath of office. It goes back to there is no greater calling than to actually be in service of others. And it's a decision that everybody in public safety makes to actually be in a situation where you put others first. It's not for everybody. It's for a select few. And this is a ceremony to kind of acknowledge the efforts and the steps that are taken in order to provide service to benefit others. So you have been chosen and trained to be a firefighter EMT for the Columbia River Fire and Rescue. In addition to responding to emergencies, your duties shall be many. As a firefighter EMT, you are responsible for maintaining your knowledge, skills, and physical abilities. You are also responsible for providing exceptional service to our citizens in conformance with the vision, mission, guiding principles, and expectations adopted by the fire district. It is your duty to respond when called. Your supervisors, peers, and community rely on your as a firefighter. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Brennan Giles,
but you didn't say state your name. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the policies and procedures,
that I will support the policies and procedures,
laws, and ordinances
the laws and ordinances
of Columbia River Fire and Rescue,
of Columbia River Fire and Rescue,
the state of Oregon,
State of Oregon,
and will uphold
and will uphold
the Constitution of the United States of America.
the Constitution of the United States of America.
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
honorably,
honorably,
and to the best of my abilities
and to the best of my abilities,
protect the safety and lives of my fellow responders
protect the safety and lives of my fellow responders
and the citizens whose care has been trusted upon me.
and citizens whose care has been trusted upon me.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I always,
Thank you.
I always value, the young firefighters that we bring in on this, because they really are the future of this organization. The place where I'm in my career, many of us here at the staff level is, we're a lot closer to the end of our career than we are to the beginning. So I appreciate the efforts that this young firefighter has put forward, because he is the future of his organization. So, want to call somebody to,
Yeah,
Do you
my
recommend-
mother.
absolutely. Okay? That's the short one.
You could just get stickers next to it. For the junior fireman.
The badge pinning ceremony that we do is special in that this commitment that your son is making is not a commitment that he makes alone, but a commitment that the family must also accept. That he will be placing himself sometimes in hazardous way. But I guarantee you that he has all the support of this administration, of our fire district, and of our training division to prepare him appropriately to take on that task to the highest level of safety that we can provide for him.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you. You want to get up there and get a picture too? I'll snap one. Yeah, I'll snap one for you. There you go.
Scroll.
Perfect.
He had on video the whole time. Good job. I know. Congratulations, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you guys coming out. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's buddy. Okay, so let's move on to the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. So we have here we're taking minutes from last time and then financial. Maintenance. Correct? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I think we've got the cash flow chart we have, and I think we also have some additional material.
Took some notes and zoomed in and
Oh, we can read them now.
Yeah.
Nice.
so
Okay. Yeah, we don't, I think. Those glasses on top of your head. Well, those are for looking far. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second. Motion and second. Is there any discussion? So was this our budget? I mean, financial for the month?
yes, that is for the since July for our fiscal year. So it has everything is cash in, cash out.
So we received in November, I think, we did there was one in November and one in December.
We received a large amount of money, thankfully, from our tax turnover.
Okay.
So which you can see is reflected in the LGIP tax account.
Okay.
You'll see that it's a reflection in November of $7,084,000. Yeah, 84,000.
We have a small, we have an issue with that, is that the cash flow that now the county is projecting is lower than what they stated last year, which was what this budget was made.
How much lower are they?
About 300.
The projections are, there's a new person in there without saying anything, so we've gotten a couple turnovers recently, so we're saying anywhere from 200 to 300, I don't know the exact number, yes.
Yeah, but we're getting conflicting numbers.
Do we think it's an issue of new person being more conservative or?
I think they're untangling their grandma's yarn over there. They have some things that they're trying to,
Sort of.
yes. we kind of went by there and they asked us for a little patience, but that everything would be transparent in the end.
We have 6 months.
Yeah.
Are there any other, either revenues or expenses this month that are of note?
Some of the expenses that we're gonna be discussing are in the resolutions, and I can go over that during that, so you guys, if you would like, when we go through that. And I'll give you some more detail along those lines. The other thing in terms of cash flow, one of the nice things is the Systems Design West is doing really well for us for our EMS revenue. I know they would like to. I know that, I know she's not with us tonight, but she would like to hear that too, so they're doing really well with our EMS revenue as well, so.
Yeah, what was our total, from the deposit side, what was the total, deposits not including the tax account? It looks like over $400,000.
Yes, so a little over $400,000. I mean, if you subtract the 7 million, then yes, you will see that the revenue was for that, almost $400,000.
And this is what we're striving for, is that the board will be able to look at the packet and know exactly how much money is there and exactly where all that money went, which was a little bit convoluted in the past. But it's all right there.
Any other questions or discussion for consent agenda?
Yeah, I'm looking at two cash flow charts. This is the one that was in the revised packet. It goes till November. The board packet I received goes till June.
So I took some constructive criticism and I blew it up for you guys. The cash flow chart is the same exact cash flow chart, but if you move past, there's no data past that, obviously, because we're only in December right now, but we have up till November in the statements. So moving forward, that cash flow chart, moving past the month that we're currently in, there's no data in that yet.
So that's why that 7,600,000.
That's why it stays the same as you move forward, yes.
Thank you very much. I was looking, whoa, we're not spending anything on payroll or utilities.
Oh, yes, sir.
I hope.
The key is that what we want you to note is that if you look at October.
Yeah.
The October, the hard cash like number that we had in October would not have been enough to make payroll or even keep the lights on. But we have a plan and Director Niles, and that'll be together with the strategic plan that we're kind of putting together and working on now. Now that we have some hard numbers we can look at, the plan will be in place and how will we hope to recover that. Make it to where that situation that scenario doesn't develop, come to fruition.
Any other comments or discussion for consent agenda? Then, time to vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as per the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Didn't hear anything from Kim, so, but I'm assuming.
I don't think she's on.
she's not okay.
We haven't been able to contact her.
I spoke to her. She said that she was gonna not be able to participate tonight.
Okay.
Okay, then, so that's 4-0, motion carries. Then let's move on to the chief officer's report. So I see in the agenda, we have a couple bullets. Perhaps we want to talk about those as well as anything else.
All right, go ahead.
So one of the bullet points that we want to discuss tonight is a process that we're working through with emergency management. This is the Google Earth rendering of one thing we're working on. So as you gentlemen are aware, there's been a few natural disasters in our area, and with the history of the West Coast and some of the things that are going on, such as the city of Paradise burning down a few years ago and losing almost 100 people. having evacuation areas or predetermined callbacks, so we can do reverse 911 or some type of media blitz to notify folks, we have to develop those areas. This is just a snapshot of one of the Google Earth programs we're working with. And if you notice, it looks like there's little target things going out. That's from one of our target hazards, say a chemical plant. Should that chemical plant have some type of release, how would we notify those folks? So the first process was we have to develop zones that we will use to identify, we want to evacuate this area. We'll call it zone 1. Everybody within zone 1, hopefully that is signed up through the Verse 911, would receive some type of notification via text or phone call. And so, but in order to do that, we have to develop those areas first. As we're using GIS, we'd work with CCOM, and this is going to require media blitz. We're hoping to have this done in 90 days, where we then start the process of doing a media blitz in both print and in social media, telling folks about how great it is, why you should have the reverse 911. And this is exactly the reason. We used it extensively this last summer, several times for red flags and a few things like that, with those who were signed up for red flag or I'm sorry, the reverse 911, receive some type of notification. So once we develop these, we work with CCOM. CCOM can take those GIS lines that we put on there and actually identify the properties that are there. Once we have those properties, we can then put out that media blitz, say, if you live in these areas, please sign up for this reverse 911 system. It's the only way in rural Oregon we're going to get a message out. We've discussed this with Fire Defense Board extensively, and the only agency that can actually affect an evacuation is the Sheriff's Department or local PD. But if we have this developed, this will help us liaise with the local PD or sheriff should we need evacuation due to wildfire, flooding, hazardous materials event, or some other catastrophe that we need to notify folks on. So this was just a brief overlay. Once we have the system done and up, I'm working with the other chief officers and our fire chief on designating what we call these, because right now I have them by streets. And so one might be Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh 1, 2, and 3. So we might change those names to something more effective. But our goal is to have this up in 90 days by March 1st and working that out. And then that's when we start the media blitz and getting folks to sign up for it. So I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop on that. And that's just a quick rendering of it.
So where is Dino Nobel? They're in the blue.
So if you're looking at this one, the blue area would be Dino Nobel. And again, when I printed this from Google Earth, it didn't come out the way you see it on the screen, but that's where Dino Nobel is. And so we have one specifically for Dino Nobel, and we'll be able to put data in there. And then again, a hazard materials release is very fluid, depending on a number of factors using MARPLOT and a few things like that, and the weather conditions that are present, how far a chemical will go will determine. That's why I broke Columbia City up in several areas, because it may be something that's only going to affect people within, 1,000 yards of, or as you see here, that first red circle, that's 1 mile out. Just a circle drawn around Dino. The yellow one is 3 miles out, and then there's a 5 mile you can't see on this particular one. And so I'm printing the evacuation zones all the way out should there be a serious event.
Chief Smythe has also been working to get some more raw systems, some more weather systems installed and put into that. That's going to help us be able to predict plume flow and things like that. Hopefully to be able to give us more time to be able to announce evacuations.
And we're also placing this in, it'll be in our Service Pros and our iPads that the crews will have. We're identifying, the battalions are right now out identifying landing zones. So I'm actually marking landing zones that we can use that are predetermined. So should we need life flight, most of the time we're scrambling trying to find some place to land the helicopter. We'll already have ones that are pre-designated within, 1 or 2 miles of wherever an incident may be that we can land a helicopter.
So, any questions on that?
I thought this evacuation plan was already available through emergency management, because Lepsy looked at this, made some things, put to emergency management, and they said yes.
Yes, sir, but the emergency management director has changed, and therefore some of the things and the way that they do them have changed. And he's looking to update it and make it kind of be a little bit different. And there was a big question as to, who was gonna be able to call for the evacuation. And we've been ping-ponging back and forth as to how that's gonna happen. So all this kind of ties in, and besides, they have to be reviewed and updated every, 10 years?
Yes.
Like every 10 years, and we're like in that window now, well, that's what they're doing.
So is wildland gonna be a part of this?
These evacuation zones can be used for anything we want, depending on. And so some of the areas, if you look on the map near the bottom of the page, there's a red area. That's where Elk Creek subdivision is, and we have, talked to Director Niles about this extensively. I'm waiting for that hillside to burn. And honestly, because we have folks that are living out there that are homeless or houseless, to be politically correct, I guess. And it dries, it cures out every August. The oaks die back, the grass turns green at 6 feet tall. And if we have a good run, we're gonna burn 500 to 1,000 acres. And it'll be the biggest fire in Columbia County that Kelly can say he's been to. Sorry, Kelly.
And again, these evacuations, they are all dynamic. If the wind changes or if it goes someplace.
Well, they're gonna be, and you can't see, so I haven't labeled them. So one of the things I'm going to work with the chiefs over the next probably month or so is how do we want to label them? If somebody goes, I want Pittsburgh 1, Pittsburgh 1 might be that first one right there off of Pittsburgh and Highway 30 and goes up so far. We haven't labeled them. We wanted something that we easily identify, the IC can identify quickly, and we put that to CCOM. CCOM does reverse 911. Reverse 911 is not fast. It isn't, and it's very limited. It's on text. It is a very short window of information, and so what it is, probably refer you to a website or some type of information center to receive further instructions. But we have to have some way to identify and notify these folks, and having cops drive down the street or us and the fire breaks yelling on our loudspeakers not to be very effective. This emergency management, Chris Carey did this in California for earthquake. It had different zones, and he brought it here. He doesn't have the capacity with 1 or 2 people at emergency management to do it, so he's left it to each of the districts. And as far as we know, we don't believe any other districts are currently doing this. So we're trying to kind of lead the way and show them it's not as hard as it is, and it just takes a little time. And once it's in place, it's something we should review annually.
Thank you.
Next thing we're gonna talk about is the administrative building. The question was posed at the last board meeting about where we were as far as expenditures and such as that. A printout of the amounts was included in the board packet. Now, the way that I'm accustomed to doing contracts whenever we're building things is that I'm accustomed to rear end loading it. In other words, it's the one way that you can assure that the contractor is gonna stay on task because it's when he finishes that he gets the bulk of the money. So as you can see right now, it looks like we have $243,000 remaining, which we do, but he should be done like the first week of January. And the second that happens, that's gonna go down to 0. We are right where we need to be for that building, and it's moving along, and it's coming real well. And there's some pictures that we included on the back that was actually of the conference room that has been created and updated and such.
But when you think, move in and all that stuff?
I'm thinking the first week of January, second week of January at the latest.
Okay, and so you can have a grand opening when?
Yes, sir. Probably the second week of January. That's tentative date because we still have a couple of issues with supplies being sent to us. That's the only delay that we have. They keep moving around whenever a certain supplier is delayed. They move to something else. And, we have, Chief Sanchez and Jeremy Leonard are coordinating all kinds of things because you have to kind of make it fit between the IT, because everything's brand new. All the wiring's brand new, all the plugs are brand new, which is what the issue was before, was all the wiring. So it's resetting up the servers, it's redoing, because without having computers, there's no sense in it. But I do want to give kudos to Chief Sanchez and to Jeremy Leonard, who actually, through involvement with an auction of the old Boeing corporate offices, was able to secure probably anywhere between $25,000 and $40,000 worth of equipment for like $3,000, $2,500, something like that. If you can see that large TV set that you see there in the back, it's actually a video conferencing system. that's gonna be going on, that's gonna be going in the actual conference room. And, that was like a few $100, and brand new, it was like 30,000.
Okay, so probably realistically, you know, February probably, we could be in a position in which we could,
I think that for sure by February, absolutely.
is the space big enough for our board meeting? Or-
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It doesn't have a lot of seating area for open board meetings, but, you know, we live in a new world now where everything tends to be, virtual. So we may have to shift to virtual meetings. I mean, we could do maybe a first come, first only and hold a certain amount of people. But, it's not gonna hold, it's not this big. This is like the size of the whole building. Yeah.
If the conference are bigger than the one that was there before?
Yes, and the layout is a lot more feng shui per se.
Not a word I'd expect to hear it. That's,
I'm from Miami, sir, you have to.
that's true, that is true. But,
I'd like to make an observation that if they haven't been involved in complex, building projects like this from both, past life and, associated with the school district, and whatnot, it's always nice, especially when it's, opening up and starting something, so a little holdback, a little incentive to come back, because if you think it was hard to get them here, try and get them back. And
Well-
particularly with the IT end of things.
Yeah, well, the thing with that is that I can tell you is that, we started twofold, right? This is the project, plus we had a leak and an issue with the bathrooms at St. Helens stations. First of all, we didn't have co-ed showers. And the showers in the bathrooms didn't have locks. And that was an issue.
We didn't have girls and
And
boys,
yeah, it was like
women.
men and women. Yes, men and, that's what he meant to say.
Little
Um,
children, sorry.
So
Line training.
as we curtail the end of this, they start on that one. And on the annex building. Okay, so we back end loaded it on purpose. So that if we have certain things happen, he's gonna be right down the street. It's like, hey. This
It's nice to have leverage, for leverage.
Yes, sir.
That's
That was a goal.
but on the third one, you have retained. So if you go from here to the annex or to the Helm station, whichever one they have third, you should have retained.
Yes, sir.
So you hold backs to make sure they come back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't grab that, then we're good.
Yes, sir.
That's good, looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's try to be, I mean, we spent a lot of money, you know, a lot of public money to fix it up, so we should be thinking about open house at some point.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, maybe nicer weather, maybe.
Mhm.
So maybe not February, maybe March or April or something, so we
Yes,
should
sir.
have some event.
Absolutely.
So with the new upgrades for IT at the admin building, will we need to do anything for the stations?
Yes, that's gonna be part of the strategic plan. We have infrastructure issues that we have to address, but it's like knocking over dominoes. You know, we have to move in a methodical type of projection so that we don't end up putting guys in trailers. I don't wanna put guys in trailers. Trailers are a waste of money. They can cost tens of thousands of dollars that you never recoup. But if you do the upgrades in a systematic form, you just kind of slide guys from here to there and from there to here, and then you kind of move them around in a way that it's least impactful for them and creates cost savings for the district.
But we won't have to upgrade ITs at the fire stations, or will we?
Yes, we will have to do it.
And are we on budget and on time on this project?
On budget, on time is a relative, term, Director.
Believe me, I'm building a house.
I was gonna say, you're building a house, you should know. Yes, I mean, up to now, yes, we are. We're actually ahead of schedule a little bit. We had some delays early on, permitting and things like that we discussed before, that we know the issue, why that happened. That put us about 3 weeks back, or we would have been done probably the first week of December.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Cost analysis?
The cost analysis, I put that in there to see if there's any more explanation or anything else that you want to go over, and also to let you know that, we have a lot of irons in the fire in the things that we're trying to line up. In January, we're gonna be doing a financial review, sort of, the state of the district type of thing. Where we are financially and the projections. We probably are gonna have to make more cuts. If you look at the budget that was proposed, and adopted for July 1 of this fiscal year, by June 30th, we should have zero cash flow. I mean, less than we had this October, zero. And we've talked about why that is the situation. So we're gonna have to make more cuts. But there are certain things that are just the cost of doing business. So we're gonna be shuffling money around, robbing from Peter to pay Paul. And I just want to let you know that what eventually you're gonna get is every line item that we have. So like if we have a line item that says IT, and we budgeted $1 million for IT, and we've spent 800,000, you're gonna see $1 million for IT, 800,000, and that there's $200,000 left, and how much is left in the fiscal year. That's what we're trying to get to, but that's gonna take a little bit.
Gonna have it in next month by January.
We should have by the end of January, February, at the latest by the meeting in February, yes, sir. Because in the first weeks of January is when we start doing our budget review, because that's mid-year for us.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
When we're gonna have to, we really need that before we can have the sort of decision making.
Yes, sir, we're probably gonna go, from basically from January 2 to January 11 is all focused just on the adjustments we have to make for the budget.
Add a little bit to that too, with the certain things are increasing, like our liability, which I'll talk about with the resolution. So just going over that from the cost analysis, which I have a resolution for today to hopefully increase that a little bit. And then like the ambulance inflation factor, which we get our Medicare money from as well. We got this email just today. The rural adjustment factor is going away. So our revenue, our EMS revenue from our Medicare patients, Medicaid patients, that ends, December 31st, 2022.
And let me explain to you a little bit more how that hurts, is that Medicare, because we're a rural district, allows extra billing to cover some of the costs that are involved. Because I think I can have Chief Halsey, you want to chime in on this, or am I?
No, I don't, you're pretty much hitting that right there.
Yeah, so Medicare allows extra billing. Now, I want you to understand that Medicare is the supreme high authority as to how much you can bill for things. And the insurance companies, private, and the regular insurance follows usually Medicare guidelines. They're the standard that they follow. They had allowed a certain kind of extra overbilling, and that goes away in December 31st.
December 31st.
Now, we had hoped that they were gonna extend that. But it looks like, that's not gonna happen. Medicare isn't gonna extend it, so that's another thing that we have to, that's why we're waiting, because we're not sure exactly what that's gonna look like. We had intended to start the review in December 1 to be ready by January. But it's all these little things that have happened that have pushed us back a month. We have to wait to see how the year is gonna end, the calendar year.
Are we gonna change the cost that we charge for it?
That is something that really is the recovery rate that we're going by Medicare standards. We've looked at that. I can't comment on that yet until I get more of the information. As to what we can
But I
do.
think you should be looking at that anyway, right? To make sure that.
We are,
Especially given the amount of inflation and cost of fuel, we should be looking at that and see what it costs us.
yes, sir.
And we should be billing appropriately.
Yes, sir, we are.
I mean, I doubt any increase we're gonna have in that is gonna offset. I don't really know what kind of extra Medicare is billing, but I suspect it's more than what we would be able to make up the income.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
And Medicare doesn't reflect on our actual ambulance billing rate. They have kind of like a set rate they pay for either ALS one.
No, I understand that too. I understand, but I mean,
Yeah, so it unfortunately, with that being, about 70% of it, it kind of goes right back to kind of.
right, but I mean, we can make up some by private insurance that
Yeah,
we bill.
Yes,
our- our-
Absolutely.
So,
And we have a meeting set up. Again, we delayed the meeting with Systems Design West Because it's just, there's no sense in it until we can get some hard numbers. We would just be guessing. So we kind of postponed that off until, the first week of January. And then, so we can actually start putting things together.
I can't say that we've been going through our contracts, though, multiple contracts like Target Solutions, our training. We had 100 users on there. We've never had 100 employees. That's been cut back. Crew Sensor scheduling software was 100. We were up there. We cut that back. That's 3,500 of savings right there. 2,500, 2,400 annually, and just our cell phone that we're switching over now from Verizon to AT&T. No cost to us. It's just some housekeeping.
Well, here's the thing, like, let's just take the cell phone situation. And we've been coming up switching, because we're switching to FirstNet. I still, for the life of me, can't understand why we went to Verizon, but that decision was made prior to my tenure. So the issue happens to be this, is that when I first got here, I asked for like a printout of every SIM chip that we had. Because every SIM chip has associated cost with it. So it was my expectation that we would get like chip 1, apparatus 4, cell phone. And all we had was a list of the chips. So when I went, what's this one? What was related to me was like, oh, chief, come on, you can't just bird dog and just pick one out. So I went, okay, well then you pick one out and let's go where it's at and find it and verify that the numbers are the same. And then what I got was, well, we don't really record it that way. So how do we know, and I'm gonna embellish here. I'm like, how do we know that these 500 SIM chips that we have that we're paying for are all that we're paying for? I mean, how do we know we don't need 100? Why do we need 500? And the room was silent. So the only way at this stage of the game to figure it out is the same way we've done several things. Is we're shifting over all the medical units so that they can have communication with the hospitals. And then we're gonna turn every single SIM chip off. And if somebody has one, I'm sure that they'll come up and say, hey, my phone doesn't work. And if somebody has one that shouldn't have one, they're not gonna say, hey, my phone doesn't work. It's just, it's a drastic measure, but that's just what we have to do. Right now, what we're doing is we're logging every single SIM chip, where it's assigned and how it's assigned on the apparatus. So it's not gonna happen again. As I mentioned to the board early on, that's why they call them growing pains. There are some things that we have to address to increase accountability and to bring efficacy to the district. We're on our way. It's just gonna be slow. Again, and I know I've said it before, but I'm just gonna ask for understanding and patience and a little time, and we will get there. And again, and a large step is Director Niles' focus on the strat plan or strategic plan. That's gonna be a big step that helps us now identify the road that we're gonna take. And then we can start moving in that direction.
Anything more for the chief's report? Don't have anything under old business. So let's move on to new business and resolutions. So Senses, you want to help us out here? We have quite a few to go through.
Yes. The one that I did change a little bit. The one that I did change for, which I'll get to and give you some details about, was the liability. They wanted to increase it, the insurance we carry for our property and our vehicle. I took out the details on the end of it, otherwise it's the same. It's just you guys understanding that I'm asking to change our copay, our deductible from 1,000 to 5,000 for property, for instance. Exactly what it says in there. Because the numbers that they're giving me were still in talks, but they wanted to increase it 21.51%, which is a significant increase for us and it hits our budget. So with that and certain things on the property, just like risk benefit, we can possibly drop it down 13% from that 21% as of right now. I'm still talking with them, but obviously I wanted to bring it as where this administration wants to be upfront, let you guys know what's going on. So that was something that saves us a significant amount of money, which we need. So everybody's just trying to.
Is it deductible on the property or equipment or?
So the property, yes, we're not changing the deductible to higher for a vehicle, no, because that's risk benefit right there, right? We don't want to do that. For the equipment, we're staying the same, so mainly just the property and then the other notes that I put on there, yes. So you'll see that, for that.
5,000 deductible on the property?
Yes, instead of the
Does
one
that seem
thousand.
low to you?
Which we can talk about it, but in general, yes, I do. Okay.
It is just a cost benefit between 5% and 10%, so,
Yes,
I mean, that should be part of your discussion with these guys too, I mean,
yes, sir.
because, you gotta look back and, I mean, you know the drill for insurance.
Yes, sir. I mean, we're discussing, we're getting pricing back and forth, so I don't want to quote the price on the resolution. That's why. I'm giving you to increase it, asking for
Okay, so I think
information.
we're getting ahead of it, because the first one is Mr. Henning.
Yes, so that was the only one that was a change. Everything else that you guys received on Friday, those resolutions remain the same. Mr. Hennigan asked for his vacation, his buyback. So not vacation.
Sick leave payout.
leave. Sick leave buy payout, and that was reviewed, and this is a resolution because it's above that $10,000.
Mr. Hennigan has put in paperwork, already advised the state and the PERS. He will be retired as of
June 30th.
June 30th of 2023.
And per our policy, this is just following policy and getting you guys to sign off on it so we can disperse the funds.
So, let's see, is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Do we want to state resolution in that
Sure,
motion?
this is,
Motion to approve FY 22-23 even sick leave payout request.
Second that.
okay, any discussion?
No.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries, it'll be 4-0, so, we will get the signature, start it. Sure. Look at that. Sign.
Do you guys need an extra pen?
No, we're good.
Okay, so ready for the next one?
Next one.
All right, resolution 22-23-20 has to go to do with our audit company. This one speaks to last year, before I was here, as we were reviewing our books and going through our audit company. That's a state required audit. It showed that we owe them still an amount due of $11,000.
These are the little Easter eggs that we keep telling you about. We had tentatively, believed that had been paid. And then they came back and went, hey, you guys owe us money. And then when we researched it, they were in fact right.
So as you know, this is over, so this is why I'm presenting it, so you guys can sign off, so you can leave.
Okay, is there a motion on this?
Motion to approve resolution FY 22-23 by election.
Second. Okay, motion second, any further discussion? Those in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Next.
Again, Polly Rogers, our required state audit, except for this one, we are requesting that, we okay the fees to release the funds to pay this for this audit, which they quoted at 19.9.
Is this a, cost not to exceed, or is this just a budget?
This is cost not to exceed right now. So this is what the quote that they gave me based off of our current programs that we are running.
Yeah, it looked like previously it would be less than that.
Yes, sir. And I asked why the increase, and I was told this is the new pricing. We will be looking next year.
That was what my next question was. All right.
Great.
There a motion?
Make a motion to approve resolution 22, 23, 21, Polly Rogers and Company.
No, second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yeah, your resolution number was, I see 22, 23, 22. You said 21.
It's.
Yeah. You're right.
There was two in there for Polly Rogers back to back.
Right. And this is for the property vehicle liability?
No.
Required state audit.
Sorry. Yeah. You're keeping us on track. That's good.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Let's go through, go to that. Because I've been doing this.
Just wait for that.
Saving the food. Still some burn.
Consensus?
Sure.
Next on the list?
That's 22, 23, 22, the property vehicle and liability insurance deductible adjustment. This is just something I explained a little bit ago already, and then this just gives chief the policy, obviously, able to sign it, contract sign it, and you guys agree to increasing it, obviously, for the betterment of districts and save some money.
Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to approve resolution, property vehicle liability.
For a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
It's true.
Yep, excellent.
The next one we're excited about, the Civil Service Commission for Columbia County. Chief and Kate and everybody have been working really hard for this. We found 3 new members and required by resolution for you guys to accept those 3 members, and this is what this resolution is for.
We had an unofficial meeting, and, our our record keeping for that, we have improved upon. We record the meetings now and take minutes. What we wanted to do is we had the meeting on December 6th, and that meeting was to pose to the chief examiner the people that we had, the circumstances that existed, and if he was okay with us presenting these names to the board. He was okay with it. That's why they're coming to you now.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve, resolution number 22, Civil Service Commission.
Second.
Thank motion. Second. Any further discussion? Yeah.
Do we have any background on these people?
Thank you. I was gonna ask.
And can they come to a board meeting and meet with us?
Yes, I can make arrangements. Now, remember the three previous, board members was, they were there for 30 years. So I don't know how that process happened. I can tell you that one of the board members is paralegal. One of the board members is actually the director of utilities for the city of St. Helens. And the other board member comes out of class tonight, and she is
Gene Sampson.
yeah, Jean Sampson. She comes from class tonight. We were trying to be equally represented for the whole district as best as we could. But I can see about getting them to come to a board meeting.
So, and this is also, the civil service stuff is in conjunction with Class 9 and Scappoose, correct? And these are all vetted through them as well and everything, and it's all 3 districts are on this?
We are the parenting company. So basically what it is that it's our civil service board. And it's our civil service board, and we give the courtesy to Scappoose and Class 9 to actually have a civil service board, because anybody that has more than 3 employees has to be part of IORS. I can tell you that Vernonia has approached us, and that isn't, you don't have a resolution for that, because I'm getting clarification. They're gonna go over 3 employees, and they have to be part of the civil service board also, so we're gonna be bringing them in. I can tell you that one of the agencies, originally I made that suggestion out of courtesy, to see if each agency wanted to supply an individual. And one of the agencies said that they would do it only if we changed the name and included them in the name of the civil service board. And my mindset is, it's our civil service board. We allow you to be part of it as a courtesy. And they were like, well, then you need to find your own people. So that's exactly what we did.
Because we pay 50% of any cost.
Right now, we're paying 100% of the cost, I can tell you that. And we have been paying 100% of the cost.
So there hasn't been any contribution?
No, there hasn't.
And
And,
the contract with them is that each provide 25%.
yes, it was 25%, yes. But again, we've had, things that we're looking at, but we've been covering the whole cost. I just, it's our civil service board. I mean, I was very taken back with, well, we want our name in it. So I said, no. And then went, well, then you find your own people. So,
And, do you have an idea? I mean, and this, I'll just give you some background. So one of the issues that came up as part of the contract discussion was looking back at the civil service board. So I spent a bit of time researching that board, as part of our discussion.
Uh-huh.
So I learned, read the contract, read all that kind of stuff, try to understand exactly what it's for. But I never could understand how much it costs them. Do you have an idea? I mean, how much a year?
well, here's
It
what
shouldn't be
happens.
that, we're not talking thousands here. We're not paying, are we paying anybody?
Yes, we are. The chief examiner gets
We pay
paid.
him, okay,
He gets paid.
okay.
Because his job is that whenever the civil service board does something, he's the subject matter expert that they can go. So if you say, I want to do this, he's basically Jim Sanchez. You say you want to do this, he looks up the ORS and says, yeah, you can't do that. Or, yes, you can do that. And that's like his role.
Okay, so we pay him, then we don't pay the members.
No, that's what makes it so difficult to get members for that, is that they're not compensated in any way. And there's all kinds of provisions that you have to do to have that be a member, which we're gonna adjust because the old board gave us that latitude already, but it was never fully documented. So we're in the process of changing this. This is the first step to allow us to make some of the changes that, that we did. But it's not an easy thing to find people to volunteer these days. It's, but we're very fortunate to have the high caliber people we have. We've got paralegal, we have a director of utilities, you know, and then we have a private citizen, which, you know, really the civil service board, that's really what the basis should be, is private citizens. I mean, you're not gonna get somebody with a pedigree, you know, who's gonna turn in a CV to be part of a board as volunteer. I mean, that's not gonna happen. But I can tell you the chief examiner is actually the city manager for Rainier. And he has done things like that, and that's why we have him. Now, for that position, they did submit different CVs and things like that, and we weighed that out, and that's the direction that we went. One of the other issues that came up, I'll give you an example, is that we couldn't find anybody to take the chief examiner's position. We couldn't fill it. For a long time, we could not fill it. So what happens is that to fill it, we had to ask the civil service board to give us latitude, so where that position could say that the person either lived or worked in the district, because he works for Rainier, but he lived in Lake Oswego. But because he worked for the city of Rainier and he had a vested interest and knowledge as to political situation it went, we did that, but we never really documented. So this is part of all the house cleaning that we're doing and things like that. So really, the best we can hope for really is private citizens. I think we're lucky to have the caliber of people that we have now.
So I guess what I hear though is you're making a change here without documentation to back up that change, so to speak.
As far as what's it?
You said the civil service board gave you latitude to hire a chief examiner
Yes, sir.
that works in the district but doesn't live here.
Yes, sir.
But we don't have documentation that the civil service board actually gave us that latitude.
Oh, no, sir. But it was done back in April. And, you know, the record keeping wasn't everything that it needed to be. We've rectified that now. And we can't make the changes that we need to make until you allow me to put together the civil service board. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have a civil service board. The three people that we have, one passed away, one has, and the other two have severe medical, we don't have a civil service board.
So what I think what you're saying is that if we have a civil service board, we then can go out and get another civil service expert. Or not. No.
We can't, but try and find one.
No,
I put together,
But we could, for example, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to understand is that, trying to address what your concern is that they don't live in the district, but they work. Correct. And so what I'm hearing from the chief is, the previous civil service board, which is no longer, their three are gone.
yes,
He's telling us, what I'm hearing from the chief is that to hire the subject matter expert,
the chief examiner.
chief examiner, the previous board gave latitude to go out, instead of having somebody that lives within the district, they opened it up so you could have either live or work within the district to have that person. So that change, it sounds like it's already been made, but we
Yes,
don't
that-
have any documentation from the previous
Right.
board to back up that change. And I'm wondering if that opens up anything as far as like somebody wants to make it an issue or push it, or one of the other districts or something like that. That since it's our board, that puts a little bit of strain on us. Potentially, because we're making a change without documentation to back it up, even though it said, oh, well, they said we could do it, but we don't have any, I guess, let's say he said, she said thing.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right, Director Niles. And again, once you allow me to make this board, all those changes will be memorialized. I mean, there are certain things, there was a lot of allowances that got made because there were special conditions that happened. We were coming out of COVID, we couldn't find anybody, and the board at that time did whatever they could to try to keep us moving. But, I mean, we can't even go back and say something to one of them because one of them has passed away. And, I mean, it is what it is, Director. I mean, I'm looking to actually, change the bylaws and change, I mean, and this is a county-wide thing that's going on here.
Mhm.
I mean, the bylaws for the Fire Defense Board, which I am looking to update, were last written in 1968. I mean, I'll tell you, Director, I'm shocked at the level of the lack of documentation. And I hear what you're asking me, but you're asking me to do something that has never historically been looked after in this county. And I'm telling you that that's definitely gonna change now. We are definitely gonna look at it, we are gonna change it, we are gonna move forward. This is the first step to accomplish that. And again, there's certain things that we did, special circumstances. I am confident and I believe strongly that if we needed if the inquiries were done, it's easily justifiable because of special circumstances and conditions that we were operating under during that time. But now it's time to fix it. And that's what we're trying to do.
So just follow up on that. When we hold these, or when you hold these civil service, meetings and stuff, who's responsible for the documentation notes of that? Is that the chief examiner?
I am, sir.
What was it previously before you got here? Was it the chief?
I have no idea, sir.
Mayor, the finance director have the notes.
Okay, I didn't know if it was, because wasn't the chief previously Gene Ripa?
The chief examiner was Gene Ritter.
Yeah,
Chief examiner, okay,
but she didn't keep the minutes or the notes or anything like that.
okay.
Because we went looking for anything that she had. We even kind of reached out to her. She said, I don't know. I mean, right before she left, I was like, where's all this stuff? I don't know. And again, it's not gonna happen ever again. I can guarantee you that. And we're gonna be looking at revising the bylaws to assure. Right now, the individual that's in charge of the minutes is the custodian of record for Columbia River Fire Rescue, which is why we made a custodian. I declared a custodian of record specifically because of the Civil Service Board. So now we can go, that's the custodian of record. And the custodian of record that we have is Kate Leonard. That's why we named her in resolution. So now nobody can go, oh, you don't keep the minutes? You keep the minutes? I keep the minutes? No, the custodian of record does it. That's why we did it that way. It's bits and pieces, it's putting together a puzzle. Again, I mean, I'm gonna ask the board for their patience, but we are doing the right thing and we are being very transparent.
Any further discussion?
Are we exploring any type of educational opportunities for these new members dealing with civil service, public meeting laws? So they get a little bit of up to speed instead of being,
Yes, sir. Well, we actually look for the chief examiner to make sure that all that stays. The issue happens to be that we have a financial issue. As I've discussed with the board, some of you have asked to take, some classes and things like that. And we just do not have the money. So, yes, we look forward to providing that for them. But as of right now, the chief examiner, so the subject matter expert, he's supposed to keep them in their lanes. And it's gonna be trial by fire.
the other question is the civil service policies. Who okays those? Is that something this board does because it's our civil service committee?
We present civil service policies to you once they get adopted by the Civil Service Board. It's really an odd way of doing it, but that's the procedure that's outlined. So they'll look at it, they'll make the motions, we'll make the changes, we'll put it together, and then because it's our Civil Service Board, okay, then we'll go, this is what the they actually make their own rules, present it to the chief examiners. Chief examiner tells them that they can or they can't do that. Then we memorialize it, we change it, we write it, then we come and present it to the board for informational purposes of what it is that we're doing. Or what it is Civil Service Board is doing. And that kind of, it's a double like record type of thing. Again, it hasn't happened in 30 years because, well, we've had the same guys for 30 years.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Director, did I answer your question?
Mhm.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? Time to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 13-0. Thanks, Joel. Thank you.
Anyway. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Chief.
All right, we are on 22-23-24, the LBTC bond payments. This is same thing, housekeeping as in the past. The amortization scheduling and stuff and the payment before, what the information, the best information that they were provided before I got here happened to be incorrect. So this is a resolution about paying this bond payment in the amount of $133,599.96.
Let me add something to that, Director, and this is going back to you, the statement, the question you just asked, Director Miles. That, we were told that the payment was X number of dollars. We looked back to try to find resolutions and contracts and things like that. I can tell you this, that payment, our budget was based on what historically we had been told that the payment was. But what we didn't get told was that that payment varies anywhere between $40,000 and $60,000 every year, up or down. And we can't find any rhyme or reason as to why it does that. There is no documentation. It just does. The fee schedule identifies, for example, that you pay $130 this year, $160 next year, $125 a year, the year after that, then $130 again. There's no documentation that explains it. We just have to kind of pay it.
What do we have along with or whatever the payment is?
They refinanced it in 2016. And since then we have it through, which we're working through the contractor.
And it was that refinancing that caused the problem. I mean, the savings was like $1,000.
It was a decent chunk, but the amortization scheduling is the part that I don't understand.
Yeah,
how we agreed to
when
it.
we looked to see if any documentation was presented to the board. We looked to see if there was any minutes. We looked to see if there's nothing.
I don't have any resolution that you guys.
It was just refinanced and we really can't explain why.
It was, I believe it was discussed at a December, budget committee meeting.
Was it?
That's all I can tell you.
And yeah, but the details of it, and that's, the devil's in the details. And that's one of the things that I want you to understand this, is that we're looking at everything. This board charged me with looking under the hood, making sure that all the Ts were crossed and all the Is were dotted. And I can tell you that the documentation that this organization has been keeping has been, as a whole, extremely lacking. But we're making the changes to make sure that we have the exact documentation that we need. This is just another example. That's why you get all these resolutions, because we're just trying to clean up a clean house.
The other contracts I spoke of earlier, for instance, where people that are signing contracts for this district to encumber liabilities, never even worked for this district. So one of them was that way. So just to give you an idea.
Yeah, we have like, one of our contracts, basically, the one that does, it's for, education, Target
Solutions.
Target Solution and Cruise Sense. The individual is signed to encumber us to that contract. Never worked for Columbia River. It was an IGA thing.
And they were benefiting from it
Yeah,
as well. instead of
just like
the market.
Lexipol. Whereas we paid for Lexipol and other entities, got it because we were paying for it. And I can tell you that resonates throughout this organization. This organization, was facilitating other organizations and bearing the brunt of pay, which is concerning to me, because now you're talking about taxpayers from this district paying money for benefits that went outside the district. How it got happened, who did it, who authorized it? Directors, I have absolutely no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I can tell you, we're just trying to fix it. But that's a situation that exists.
I do have the updated contract. Okay. Second time.
Right.
I was able to get that.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to FY 23-24 LB Street bond payment.
Second. Okay, motion. And seconded, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. No one got voted.
Sanchez, so let's pay up, date.
Containers. It's a fairly constant, right? It's not a, kind of like the home loan or. Right, in other words, we don't obviously bear check the box.
It varies, yes, sir, but.
I forgot to do it, I have to go back myself.
I will look into it further to make sure that we're.
No, that's true. Yeah, I did all my. But yeah, you're right. It's documented.
You originally had 14, like, you're not doing 14. We're ready for you. Perfect.
Okay, so this one actually, to answer your question a little bit earlier as well, when you brought up IT, this is specifically for information technology and upgrading the system that we have and replacing it. The chief had the foresight when they're building the budget, the admin, they already, for this, that's why I cited the line item, cited $140,000 for the year, because they saw the problems we're having with cyber and cybersecurity, upgrading our firewalls and stuff. This is just something that has to be done to maintain the service that we're providing for our citizens. The pricing out, we're asking to release these funds, all GSA contract stuff, where for certain equipment and contractor services for installation of some of it.
Just to give you a little information about the IT thing. The reason that I budgeted that much was because, Center Logic said that our problem was all our wiring and we had some electrical issues because of power fluctuation. So I budgeted that much thinking it would resolve it. Then when we got quotes to do the wiring, they were coming at in excess of $200,000. And I was like, I didn't budget enough money to do that. So then it was like, well, heck, if we're gonna spend $200,000 to just change the wiring, we may as well go a little bit broader and look to actually doing it right. Which is, because that's a situation that happens. Like, for example, we've done things at the St. Helens station and spent $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And now we're gonna have to go back and do it again. Because we need to have a little bit of foreseeability. And I understand, and I've heard a thing, in the last 6 years, there's been 5 different administrations, and I understand that. But that's why I appreciate Director Niles about the strategic plan. When I put together the strategic plan, it's gonna lay out the plan for the next 5 years. And that's gonna be able to allow us to not spend good money after bad.
And this should help with some of the service interruptions as well that they've experienced in the past, as we've stated earlier, so.
Your motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 22-23-25, release of funds for IT.
Second. Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Here.
you like, I can do the last one while we sign. Or?
I like this awkward silence. And, it's pretty cool.
I want you to know there was supposed to be 14 resolutions, and there's no way that, we were gonna go in that direction. Be here tomorrow.
The lovely relationship.
Killing. It's all about self.
Ben, you killing me?
He is killing me.
It's you more of like, thank you for keeping us on the right track.
Oh, yeah.
That's one.
Finally, the resolution 22-23-26 for legal services. This is just a retainer. This is something that we agreed upon. If warrant patients legit, that's our client privilege and we can discuss that later.
We discussed this in closed executive session.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to,
Go ahead, Barry.
motion to resolution 22, 26, legal services.
Second. 26 resolution. Any further discussion?
Cable Houston LLP. Which attorney do you use?
That would be Clark Golf Course, sir.
And that was for the issue with the
Yes, sir.
city?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
One, if you're for. That's gonna be in the meeting minutes of the animal, so.
Yeah, the part of the resolution that we do mark it.
This one's yours.
Okay, so the last, under new business is the fire protection agreement.
For 68684 Bedell Road on Deer Island for Thomas Kazmarek.
Never mind, we need another motion for this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think it's in our packet. So this is a fairly standard, fire protection agreement and intent to annexation agreement. This will be signed by us and then by.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there a motion? Or does folks want to talk some more about this?
Trying to see if I can find it in the. You can get a hard copy of it.
I have it pulled up on my mark if you want to see it. It's towards the very end of the doc, end of the bottom of the doc.
Yeah.
But while he's looking it up, I will make a motion to, enter into the fire protection agreement between CRFR and Thomas, would you say, Kismerick?
Yeah, that's like this.
At, address 6864 Bell Road, Deer Island, Oregon, 97054.
No, second.
Well, second, any further discussion on this?
Yeah, wait till.
Mark, are you able to find it?
Yeah.
Yep. Put that down.
So is this isn't just property, this is a structure, I take it? Assessed value of 250,000.
Probably. Yeah,
The property
That's a-
tax. The property.
you have the assessed value, if you have that,
Yeah, 250,000.
put it all in the wrong place.
Land and structure.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, just,
Yeah.
all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It requires signature for Moon. Switch. Okay. Okay, we're moving on then to board member comments. Let's start with Mark. Sure, man.
Last month, I failed to mention this, I got reelected, or not reelected, I got elected back to the Oregon Fire District Directors Association Board of Directors. So I'm starting that up again. I appreciate Kate getting a hard copy for me. I can scribble on it, where I can't scribble on this without causing much damage. And finally, I'd like to make sure that we recognize the civil service members that retired. But the service on the board. You know, get a, I don't know, just a plaque or something. I don't know with Chuck, since he's passed away, if we want to do something for his wife. A plaque.
did, sir.
And the other members?
We've done things from that, sir. We'll look into it and do something else.
Okay, I just want to make sure they're recognized.
Yes, sir, absolutely, sir. I understand.
That's it, thank you. Oh, one more thing. Are we gonna get more information on this? Cash flow and cash out?
Yes, you have that. That's the updated information as of today. So as the next month, there'll be a whole nother line, and the next following month, there'll be a whole nother line.
Okay, I might stop by because I got a lot of questions on what all these acronyms are. I don't want to, waste the board's time by asking.
That's it. You can come by up to Deer Island. That's where we're at right now.
Okay,
And that's no problem, sir.
all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Keep on keeping on. Good job, guys. That's the, that's in that industry. Looking forward to that. Thank you.
Nothing for me. So, or anything else? I think we are adjourned. Thank you all. Here.
Not taking it here. I need it now.
Do any of you have any?